the day rearranging all my shelves and
I
stuff.
know you weren't online. Usually the day of, we have lots of last minute, I's and T's, and you were a busy boy. I think you said
Yeah.
you may have had another casualty though to the sweet boy Kevin. What happened?
Yeah, I just like can't find one of my figures. Like it's just gone. Like without a trace. It was one of my little Miku things that she like sits on the edge of the table.
Like a gashapon or like an actual full figure?
Um, yeah, I guess if you stood her up, she'd be like 6 inches tall,
Okay.
or maybe 7 inches. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember the last time I saw it. But
Yeah.
I was literally on all fours, crawling around under my desk, moving boxes, because I get a lot of stuff in the mail, so I usually just keep boxes here.
Mhm.
I even flipped my couch over upside down.
My
It's not
gosh.
like I don't know where it is. It's just gone. Um, and I'm guessing that's how my Kylo ended up on the floor.
Mhm.
Hey, kitty cat. Is that maybe because she was right above him? Maybe she fell and knocked him over.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just gone.
Well, bless her heart.
Yeah, wherever she's at, I'm worried about her.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Deannie.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
Yeah.
Dean, we would like to extend a big thank you to our sponsor, Watto Scrapyard, for re-upping his sponsorship and continuing the support of our podcast.
Nice.
Great guy. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But before we get into that, Dean, we have a
Is that
very
a new
special
logo?
segment.
It's nice.
Wait, what?
Is that a new logo? It's nice.
Yeah, he had a graphic artist commission this logo. And in the chat, we have Mario Cortez. So
Hey, what's up,
welcome,
man?
Mario. But Dean, what did you get as part of new this week?
New this week. Not a damn thing. I did pre-order some stuff, but they're not out till later this year. But I pre-ordered the Play Arts Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake Tifa and Eris. On Big Bad Toy Store, they're $154.
Yeah.
On Ami Ami, they were $112. So I pre-ordered them on Ami Ami. Now the shipping is going to be more on Ami Ami, but one, I'll get it way sooner, and two, the shipping's not going to cost me $30. So
yeah,
I'm not that upset about it.
Yeah, I've been ordering Final Fantasy toys from the Square Enix store, and not only are they a month behind Ami Ami, but they charge easily like double on shipping.
Yeah, dude, Ami Ami has like come in so clutch for me lately. Unfortunately, nothing's like shipping out of the country, so my stuff is kind of just sitting there. But these in particular don't they don't come out till November and October, I believe. So I got a while anyway. But that's all I got new this week is pre-orders.
What about you, Deanie?
Same, more of the same. I had a statue I was supposed to get, but that was delayed for obvious reasons. I had I can't remember who makes it, but Square Enix has up for pre-order a statue, a diorama statue of Kuja and Zidane from Final Fantasy IX in like battle. It looks amazing. Unfortunately, I guess I'm gonna have to wait on that.
That statue is by HQS.
Trash Gamer says, Zach, please remove your hat. I want to see those locks. Those locks are only available to be seen on our Collecting Weekly OnlyFans. So sorry about that. You also can see Dean on all fours on his couch.
Okay, well.
Danny Lee says, what's up, guys?
I'm
sorry. No,
it's Sumi is the
Sumi, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Honestly, I was just like, I don't remember.
It's the who makes that statue. It's on Big Bad Toy Store. It is sold out, but if you want to go take a look at it.
Noise. I had an interesting week. Gare Bear, Sweet Angel, big fan of his, and Him and I came to a deal for an Eric Killmonger. It's the figure back in October, November, December. I really wanted.
You did.
And I resisted and so I even bought the Marvel Legends, loved the Marvel Legends figure, and the
Yeah, I
time
remember
came.
you were like, you had all this money on your sideshow. You're like, should I get it? Should I do it? And I'm like, I don't know, man. If you want it,
I like me some Michael B. Jordan,
that's
and
true.
you know, I got it for such a great deal that I didn't mind. Well, to be fair, I don't mind modifying anything, you know, regardless. But the price was so good that I did redo the entire line work on the figure, really toned down those bright gold lines. And then I took my Dremel and I dremeled out the entire inside of the head sculpt. Actually, it almost caught fire. It was like smoking like crazy from the sandpaper bit chewing into the plastic. And I got the head to fit so much better on the body, like, you know, at least a half an inch further down. And with the line work touched up, I'm very happy with this. And so that was a really good pickup. And I also made a deal with another collector for a Rocketeer by Medicom, the 2.0 version.
Nice.
And man, that guy's figure was in fantastic condition. Surprisingly, the Medicom body was still intact, but I knew it was only a matter of time before the body was going to
Deteriorate.
disintegrate. So I
Yeah.
put it on a brand new body, made a diorama stand for it,
Hey,
and
that's good.
I love it. I used the Disney Elite Krennic, and I gave him a little bit of a neck with some hair, and then I used some of my leather bits to make a strap for the chin. And what is this trash? Tell me, when Zack brought up Killmonger, I thought it was one random guy that walked in. Wow. But anyway, so I honestly felt like, and we'll talk about it later in the show in Custom Corner, but yesterday was such like, you know, some days when you're hobbying, you like just fuck everything up. And then every once in a while, everything will go so perfectly right. And I was like out of body experience. Like I was, because with this Metacom, I mean, this jacket is prone to flaking, and you have to unbutton all these little buttons and not flake the jacket. Not a single one messed up. Everything went perfectly. I was like a goddamn man possessed putting this thing together, and it only took me like 30 minutes to do the body swap. So really happy with these pickups.
And those are the new boots that you got?
Those are the new boots. So those were from, I'll show them close up a little bit later in the slideshow, but those were from Battle Gear Toys. They are actually leather boots. I thought, like, you know, they'd be some shitty pleather, but they're actual leather with real laces, and you have to lace them up yourself. And it was a fucking nightmare, but I got them painted. The paint held really well.
Did you get one of those little tools that Jason showed?
You know, it's funny because I've always wondered what that thing was in the sewing kits, but I never sew. And of course, like I've seen dozens of them throughout the years from random sewing kits, and the one time I actually need one, I couldn't find it. So, you know, he'll just have to be the way he is. But I was really happy that I picked that figure up. So,
yeah, that's
really,
great.
really good pickups, and I think I really like that movie. So, you know, I'm glad to have the Rocketeer in my collection. Let's get into the figure news. So, our good friend Iron Geek 37 put up a pre-order with Rocco for a Shazam figure. You know him as the guy that's making the Black Manta and the Cyborg figure, and they were able to get enough people interested to start this project. So, Dean, what do you think about this figure, this sculpt so far?
I could not tell from the bubblegum one, but I mean that looks. What's his name? The actor
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi.
Yeah,
looks just like him, dude. It's funny.
AKA
Yeah.
Eugene Fitzherbert.
Yeah, Eugene Fitzherbert from Tangled.
Yeah, so this is going to feature his signature wireless LED light up feature, lightning effects, and Shazam's Stone
Ooh,
Throne diorama base.
that's pretty cool.
His Kevin Iron Geek 37, his wireless LED effects are fantastic, and he's going to be incorporating those into this display. And if you want this figure, hit him up. His Facebook page is Iron Geek 37, and I don't think they've worked out pricing just yet. Or a formal release date, but they have the initial prototype head sculpts already 3D printed. So definitely check those guys out if you want to add a Shazam to your collection. Deannie, are you a big Shazam fan?
No, but if anyone's interested, I believe Prime One also released a one what was it, like a 1/3 or 1/6 scale Shazam? That was really awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not gonna get this figure, but I like Kevin. I like the way his builds go. All the pictures that I've seen of all his stuff looks really high quality, so definitely don't mind giving it the plug there. And on other pre-order news, kind of a surprising email, but apparently the Mandalorian by Hot Toys, the first edition, is arriving early now, expected August to November 2020. I don't really recall ever seeing an email this far in advance. Usually they'll hit you up a few weeks before, like, hey, just a heads up, this figure's coming in early. I've never seen one this early. Dean, can you recall something like this happening in the past?
Not off the top of my head. Like you said, usually it's
maybe like a month in advance, but I mean, this is
or like a few weeks. Like, hey,
August. It's like 4 or 5 months. That's quite a ways away.
I'm super excited. I have mine pre-ordered at Stevens, so
yeah.
I mean, I'm not super stoked on like, hey, give me all the money up front. So I'll have to make sure I save my pennies. But considering all anyone's gotten lately has been delayed emails, this is a welcome surprise.
Speaking of delay emails, we have several here. So Qui-Gon Jinn was pushed back from its original release date to July to September of this year. Commander Cody was pushed back September to November. Gamora was pushed back August to October. Black Widow June to July, and Nebula October to January. So I imagine there's probably figures that we missed, but those are the ones I was able to capture emails for. So quite a few delays. Nebula seems like she's been delayed for a while. Qui-Gon, Cody, those were shown a while ago. And of course, Gamora. I mean, these are all figures that people are really excited to get, especially the Hot Toys Cody, to see if Hot Toys can deliver that their quality versus sideshows.
Yeah, Cody on pre-order.
You do have Cody, right?
Yeah.
Are you on a payment plan or?
No, just whenever it pops up, we'll just pay it.
Yeah. And you still have the sideshow one, right? Did you ever decide what you wanted to do with that?
No, I mean, if I get Cody and he's really that much better, I'll probably just dump it, for $100 because
I've seen a lot of people looking for the old Cody though.
Yeah, it's a great figure. Honestly, it's probably the second best sideshow clone I own.
Yeah.
Commander Bly is second to none. That thing is fucking amazing. Now I have custom clones that are better, but again, they're custom, so they require work and money. So
yeah, Danny Lee says he thinks the Mud Trooper was delayed as well, and Eric says the cap got delayed October to November 2021.
God damn!
I just remembered. You know what I had delayed this week?
What's that?
Connor RK800 and RK900.
From the game
Detroit Become Human.
There's a third party company. Do you remember who it is?
Oh, let me look it up because I think it was Lim Toys.
I think it is. It's a third party company, and they're doing a figure set of the two from the game. And when they popped up,
it's Lim Toys.
Yeah, I know that my sister really loves that character, so I was like, "Hey, this is out," and she like pre-ordered it like the same day. But yeah, that sucks. This whole Rona thing is.
It's such a bummer, and obviously, like, we want people to be safe, so the delays are just so people aren't in the factories getting sick, but it's still lame. Like, either way.
Yeah, we want our amazing toys.
Yeah, damn it.
Let's get into releases. So just one this week, but is the Hulkbuster 2.0, which is the Hulkbuster that comes with the jackhammer in the packaging. I've seen one video. It was not in English, so I couldn't tell exactly what was going on, but it seems like the arm swap out is just a few panels and then a few screws you have to take out. But I'm wondering how they'll adopt that for the standalone jackhammer release. But I mean, it seems to be really good. People are really excited. I know Jenkin Wong put up several videos on his channel, or is going to be releasing several videos on his channel, of this figure. So definitely,
Is that one of the giant ones that I've seen before?
Yes.
yeah, it's like
I love
30
that.
inches tall, I think.
Wow. Okay, cool. Because
Wish
Dean showed me some of these before, probably older versions of that, but they are awesome.
Yeah, Eric says Limb Toys is also the ones making the Red Dead Arthur Morgan figure, and there's no word on it yet.
Is that one of like announced, or is that the one that got canceled?
Well, it got quote unquote canceled, but I think it's like, oh, it's canceled, but it's, you know, not really canceled.
Cool.
We've been hammering this the last few weeks, but it seems like SDCC is on the brink of announcing a possible cancellation. Cosmic Book News says they are evaluating any financial liability that might have with the cancellation, and once they determine that, they'll make a decision. Based on our knowledge of the event, it will be very difficult for them to have the event in July. With other events, you could do things to keep people separate, but Comic-Con is a whole different animal to a massive sea of people. Essentially, they're also making agreements with several hotels in the area. And the quote here is, any cancellation fees or penalties for this year's event may be waived as we work through this challenging process. Comic-Con continues to be a loyal partner and important economic generator for the city of San Diego and has been for over 50 years. And the last quote here says, we understand that many stakeholders rely upon our conventions as a major portion of their yearly income and livelihood, but we are truly in uncharted territory. We do not want to disappoint the people who have saved, planned, and are looking forward to the show this summer. But the primary concern, what is chief among all of our concerns, is the health and safety of our attendees and the public as well. Dean, what are your thoughts?
I think it's smart. I mean, again, it totally sucks. I get it. Like, you, as just an everyday person, you really have to plan in advance to go. And like they said, there's a lot of people that a big portion of their yearly income is, relying on the show, whether it be like just like the everyday guy who goes and like buys shit for everyone else and then turns around and sells it, or maybe somebody that saved all their money to get a booth and they're trying to make up the cost and sell shit. And even like the hotels in the area, that's a huge loss for them. But at the same time, it's like, well, do you want people to die? No, of course not. So I mean, I think it's smart to try and postpone it, and but it's like, for somebody like that took the time off of work, like they're not going to be able to make that up. So it fucking sucks, but what are you going to do?
Deannie, this is your first show in a while, but also, since this whole thing has been going on. But obviously, San Diego Comic-Con is a big part of geek culture. It is obviously the biggest convention that we have. What are your thoughts on this potential cancellation?
Well, I'm more optimistic. I'm hoping that by the end of the year, when all of these different conventions are happening, like for instance, San Japan is usually in September, like beginning of September. They moved Fiesta to November. I'm really hoping that these conventions still happen, and I'm not a huge convention person. I've been to like 3 of them before. Comic-Con, when was that, Dean?
2 years ago, I think, with Rainer.
Yeah, 2 years ago, yeah. And that was really fun. And even as someone, for me, who's more of like a casual convention fan, it would make me kind of sad to see something like this, which brings a lot of happiness to people, just kind of cut short over today's numbers. It's better to be cautious, obviously, and plan for the worst case scenario. But I honestly hope that they don't have to cancel any of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when is this supposed to be? July?
Yeah, at the end of July.
I mean, how soon would they have to cancel it? You know what I mean? Like, when's the absolute last day they could cancel it? And
I mean, I guess the question is, when's the most respectable time if they're going
Right.
to cancel it? Like, I
You
mean,
can't
you could the last day you could cancel it would be like the Wednesday before setup. But
Right.
I mean, the most reasonable time. I mean, how long do people need? For example, Rayner, when his convention was canceled, the one he was going to, they kind of put him in a bad spot with work because he had already taken off and he had nothing to do.
Right.
So,
I mean, to be fair, that was like the week when the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
And it's a much smaller convention. This is like the convention.
It's
but
what,
this
like
isn't like a
50,000
local
people.
Yeah, I mean, these are all over the world.
Hmm.
So it's like, you got companies flying in, booths being set up, maybe a week in advance. I mean, this is a whole situation.
And furthermore, if they're going to make the decision to cancel, I certainly hope they wouldn't be, right here in this first panel that you posted. These people are worried about the fees incurred from canceling.
Right.
And it's like, if you're going to shut down your own event, I really hope you'd have the decency not to, charge people for the.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It kind of seems like right now, even if they haven't officially canceled, these people are still worried.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of concerning.
Based on what I was reading, it sounded like they're working with even like hotels to like, hey, don't charge these people, because really that would shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Like, it's almost like Fiesta down here, like, or a better example is Austin, Texas, on 6th Street. The cops down there, they don't like giving people tickets because it's like it'll sour the tourist attraction, right? So it's like, hey, don't give people too many tickets because you want them to come back. It'd be the same thing. Like, man, those fucking assholes charged me a late fee because of the Rona or a cancellation fee. I'm not going back next year, or like I'm not gonna fucking re-up my thing. So it's like it would behoove them to just be like, just forgive it. But at the same time, they also need that money. It's like, hey, we put these rooms aside for you. It just fucking sucks all the way around. Like, I could see every side of every coin.
Yeah. It's just a bad situation. Like, in a perfect world, this would not have to happen. But
right.
I think in the interest of the human race, of humanity.
Fuck bats, dude.
Yeah. Let's usually we talk about the movie after the break, but let's talk about it now because I know you guys are very passionate about this film. The retro movie for this week was Akira. So Akira is set in dystopian 2019. It tells the story of Kaneda, who is a leader of a biker gang whose childhood friend Tetsu acquires incredible telekinetic abilities after a motorcycle accident, eventually threatening an entire military complex amidst chaos and rebellion in the sprawling futuristic metropolis of Neo-Tokyo. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an average approval score of 90% based on 48 reviews, with an average rating of 7.6 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, Akira is strongly bold, bloody, and violent, but its phenomenal animation and sheer kinetic energy helped set the standard for modern anime. I'll let you guys go first since you guys are the ones that brought this movie to our attention.
Dude, this movie is from a time period where anime wasn't, it was just entertainment. So like it's just, there's almost nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that's culturally significant, and not just for Japan. It just, anywhere it was spread, just changed the way people saw animation in general, because the only time you ever really saw animation of this quality, with hand painted backgrounds and cells at about 60 frames a second, per keyframe, was Disney. And those were always just these cute, kind of magical, high budget films that basically were meant for children. And then all of a sudden, here comes Japan, Katsuhiro Otomo with this massive, I don't remember how much it cost. It was millions of dollars that was sunk into this movie.
Yeah, it's
And
roughly 1 billion in Japanese money, and then that translates to about 10 million at the time US dollars.
yeah, no one had ever seen an animation really kind of this gritty, at least not that I'm aware of, because this kind of set the standard for what not only animation could be, but what Japanese animators were capable of.
I think one of, and I'm sure Deanie will agree with me, one of the first real things we ever saw on TV that was like, what the fuck are we watching? Akira. And I remember very vividly, I want to say it was like on Showtime.
No, it was on Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, Sci-Fi.
It was.
It was the scene where Tetsuo is looking over all the jars of the Akira body parts and like the brain and stuff, and Kaneda comes up and they start fighting, and it was like you're talking about, we used to watch like, I don't know, Sailor Moon or just
Speed
like
Racer.
cute cartoons. So like, you know, we've grown up watching, like she said, animation for children. And then this came on TV and we were just like, what is this? And it wasn't for years afterward that we found out what it was.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that was back before like the internet. So you couldn't just like look up like, hey, what the fuck am I watching? Like,
real quick, we have a comment from Red Wolf. He says, Akira is badass and groundbreaking at the time. I remember seeing this in the late 80s and being 9 or 10 years old. It really was magical.
Yeah, so this Akira had a limited theater release, and it came out in the US a week after the first episode of The Simpsons. So like, this is old. It's very old. The manga, which came out in 1982, it was almost like Game of Thrones, where it was so popular they just made a movie and the comic didn't finish for like another 2 years, or the manga, sorry.
Yeah.
But it has the benefit of having the same author and director. So to me, it's very cohesive. It's got a lot of shit to cram in a 2-hour movie, but it just works. Like, I don't feel like watching the anime, you're left like wanting more. It's just so perfect. It's such a good movie.
So when I was like 10, I had an Akira toy of Canada and the bike. No idea what brand it was, but I remember I fucking love that thing, and it's been lost to time. And I never at that time had seen the movie, and so the movie is available, by the way, for free on Tubi. You can watch it for free. Just download the app. And my first take of the movie is I was super confused.
Right.
And I was texting Dean as I was watching it, and I'm like maybe 35, 40 minutes in, and I have no idea what the fuck is going on. And you're like, just wait for like 5 more minutes and you'll like, it'll start to connect plot points. And then it kind of made a little bit of sense. But essentially it's my understanding that the film is the first half of the first chapter of the manga, or the first book of the manga. And then the second half of the film is the last half of the last chapter of the manga. And they kind of skip over some things and they try to like exposition dump to make things kind of fit together.
Right.
I watched 2 really good reviews of this film and explanations of the. I mean, obviously it's a story, but it's synonymous with post-war Japan, and I think one of the reviewers made a really good point. It's like, in United States films, we focus on like a threat and preventing that threat, and then Japanese culture, they take the stance of that bad thing has already happened and going forward after that, because they survived, obviously, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And so once I saw both of those reviews, I rewatched the movie and had a little bit more appreciation for it, because again, I mean, this isn't a movie you're gonna like just watch the first time and just pick up everything. It's certainly a movie that you need to watch several times. The ending really reminded me of the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey with the Star Child, entering another dimension. But I really, I think Deannie, you have a good point. The animation is beautiful. The opening scene is fantastic. The characters are well written. There's a lot of blood and gore, like a lot. And I will say that I really liked it. I didn't love it because, again, I've only seen it twice in one day. So I think it'll grow on me as I watch it more and think about it more. But I'm certainly glad I was able to find some good YouTube reviews and explanations and kind of understand it a little bit more, because a lot of that movie, they're kind of like hints and clues about what's going on, and it's not until you get to a certain point that they kind of blatantly tell you at the end what's been going on. But I did like it, and I know there has been with this retro review segment, we do try to bring this back to toys. So Dean, tell us about some of these toys here.
Yeah, so these came out, man, I don't know, 2000-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have it right here. I could just look on the foot. Yeah, 2000, right on the money. I have Kaneda right here. From McFarlane, back when he did pretty much just like Spawn figures. He just started coming out with anime figures, which was like the perfect timing. He did Akira, Trigun, Tenchi Muyo.
If those were 2000, the figure that I bought was Kanata and the bike. It might have been the McFarlane one, because you said 2000, so what's that, 20 years ago? So I'd have been 8. So yeah, that probably was the McFarlane that I picked up at KB Toys.
Probably.
Which is kind of annoying because the fuckers are expensive now.
Yeah, this bike is like $80.
Yeah, and the one on the right here, this is the Kyoto Mini Q. It's a blind box figure. And
that is for a minifigure.
What's that?
That's pretty good size for a minifigure.
Yeah, I think Gene and I might buy a box to try to pick up a few of these bikes. And then this is a 6-scale version here.
Oh, dude, I wish I could get this.
Do you know what company makes this one? Is this Metacom?
Yeah, I want to say it's Metacom.
Dude, that looks fucking incredible.
I've only seen like a handful of people with this in their collection.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's like the centerpiece, which, obviously, look at that thing.
That is pretty cool.
I've ever seen one for sale or what it would even go for now. But
I think one guy just got one in one of the groups. I think he paid $500 for it.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I might, if it came with Kaneda, I would probably spend that money. I don't know if I would just like, but
or if you're willing to hold out, Dean, Prime One is going to make statues eventually. They've been sitting on the license for a couple years, but they have an Akira license, so this right here would probably be a really slick statue.
Yeah, that would probably be a better statue than maybe a figure, but
and it's Metacom, so that pleather is probably going to be destroyed, and the body's going to be boo boo.
Damn, that's pretty good news.
Yeah, they're typically they're 1/6 scale statues. Sometimes they go for like a 1/5 scale, depending on the subject. But they range anywhere from $1,000 to about $1,500.
Well, I don't make that kind of money, but
hey, they got payment plans, so
yeah,
usually upwards to 12 months.
Yeah, this thing is beautiful. I mean, if I could get one, I definitely would.
Yeah, that is slick. I love that.
And you get the benefit of it being a figure. It's not stuck to a base, or you could put it wherever you want. It doesn't weigh 1,000 pounds. But yeah, so Metacom is that one.
And then these are Dean's figures here in his collection.
Yeah,
very cool.
You got dust, man. These look dusty.
Yeah, Tetsuo's arm is. I had to glue his hand back on like a decade ago.
Dude, bring it over so we can. Well, not now, but we can touch up that paint, make it all match.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so that's these have been sitting in storage, so they're a little dusty. But
can I have it then if you don't need it?
No,
in a storage for so long.
No.
Yeah. The Kaneda, this Kaneda right here is stuck in that seated position. Technically, he's got hip joints, and from the thigh up is rubber over it. But like the rubber is like torn a little, so I just leave it alone.
Yeah.
That
looks pretty cool. And then the one on the back, that's also McFarlane as well.
Yeah, that one is the one that came separate. This one that we're looking at was a box set that came together.
You know what I find really great about this figure here is the sticker that says immigrant on it.
Yeah.
In the manga, it says citizen, but since they're selling the toy in America, they switched the sticker, which I think is just kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a good point. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Not bad at all. Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Lots of cool toys. And like we said, there's a set of different mini Q figures by Kyoto. So lots of options there if you want to pick up some Akira toys and add them to your collection. Dean, can you give us a sponsor tag for Watto's, please?
Yeah, so Watto Scrapyard is our sponsor. Shout out Sean. He's in the chat, or he was.
Probably left. He's like, man, fuck these guys.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about me anymore. Yeah, Watto Scrapyard. So they sell 3D printed replacement parts for your Hasbro, Kenner, Star Wars vehicles, panels, missiles, whatever you need for your vehicles. They also started doing head sculpts in 3 3/4, 6-inch, and 1/6 scale. So you could make a figure you've always wanted to that nobody else did. Just hit up Sean, give him some reference shots. He could get that done for you, print it to you in a matter of days. Just a true professional and a sweet angel.
Yep, the sweetest angel that we know.
There he is. He's still in the chat.
He said, "Never f you guys." Not very nice. That is not very nice at all. Let's get into custom corner. So I did talk about my custom Killmonger, and for this custom, I used Tamiya weathering powder to redo the lines. And I know there was a lot of backlash when Hot Toys released this figure about the lines being too wide, but I don't think that the lines are that wide. I just think they weren't painted, because once I hit these with the weathering powder, it kind of darkens the edge around the lines, and they're really not that thick. I honestly think that once they produced this figure, they're like, man, it's going to be a nightmare to weather these little lines. And they're like, fuck it. Because it took me almost 2 hours to do the whole suit. So really easy to do. The Tamiya weathering powder is an oil-based pigment. It takes like a week to dry fully. But in that time, you can obviously touch it up or remove it. And I mean, I really like the way it came out. I think the lines were a lot smaller, when I opened the box, than I was expecting. And they really weren't that bad looking. But having them toned down, more like when he's just standing there in a neutral position, rather than when the suit's fully charged up, I think just looks way better. And of course, the lines on the mask are not lit up at all. And usually the head and the body would light up at the same time with the kinetic energy charging effect. So I much prefer this look. It just looks a little bit more subtle, and such a good figure, man. I really like this figure. The Jaguar print is really well done, and it's not a bad figure.
That's solid, man.
You've often told me that I'm like the Sid from Toy Story, and I did not ever feel that way until this custom here, the Rocketeer. So the original Metacon figure is kind of weird because it's like a head with like up to this point of the neck, right? And then that's placed on a figure's neck, and it sleeves over the neck. So you have like this really janky plastic neck, and then it transitions to like this bottom portion, like right here. And there's a really stark line above the shirt, and it really annoyed me. So initially I tried to put that whole assembly over an existing neck that I had. That didn't work. And I was talking to Seth, and he was like, well, a lot of people that do the custom remove that thing out of the helmet. They're two separate pieces that are glued together. So I did that, but then the question is, how do I attach this empty helmet to the body? And so I looked through my parts bin, and Dean, we had picked up a bunch of these Disney Krennic Elites when they were like $5, and I had a spare head. So I took it to the garage, hit it with a quick airbrush flesh mixture that I just kind of whipped up real quick, painted the back of the hair brown, and then I had a DX07 that the belt I used for another custom, and the DX07 has a lot of leather strips, and so I used a leather strip for the little button that goes where he kind of keeps the helmet attached to his head. Super glued that to the chin, and then put the helmet over this structure, and I had to kind of Dremel off the nose and Dremel down the head so it could fit, and it fits perfectly, and I can actually tilt the head and the neck back. And this Krennic is weird because most 6-scale head sculpts, they stop about here, right about here, and there's an adapter that lets you plug into the body.
Right.
But this Krennic sculpt is actually one piece all the way to the adapter.
Right.
And so it just plugged right in to that body perfectly. And
it's a Krennic body.
Well, no. The body I'm using is a what is it? The Lucius Malfoy from
Oh, I thought you said it was the Krennic body. I was like, it's the same
No.
thing.
But the Krennic figure uses universal joints, so everything fits with the true type, the feet, the hands, everything. So this, when I was doing it, I was like, this should fit, and then of course it did. But man, I'm super happy with how this turned out. The leather boots, did I put a picture here? I didn't. But the boots, like I said, they're pure leather. I don't know if acrylic paint's the best thing to use on leather, but since I'm going to be very gentle with this figure, hit them with the airbrush, sealed them, and they work perfectly. So very happy with this custom. I really couldn't be happier with the way it turned out, and I think I finally earned the Sid nickname that you gave me from Toy Story, because I fucking was cutting bits and pieces off of every figure, just smacking them together, and at the end it worked. But if anyone ever takes that helmet off, they're going to be in for a
Sid wasn't a monster. He was a kit basher.
What's that?
Sid wasn't a monster. He was a kit basher.
Yeah, he was a kit basher. That's an excellent way to put things. And
Beautiful.
at the end, you've always said this, Dean. It's like, the figures that people customize, they look really nice, but if there's some crimes that are there, and if you look hard enough, you'll expose some. But fortunately, even if you peek under the helmet, all you see is the chin. It stops at about the lips, the bottom lip. So unless you actually go out and remove the helmet, it's not too bad. And one more bit of custom corner geeky news: Superman plays Warhammer. I was very impressed. Henry Cavill is a miniature painter, though I will say he needs something to hold his mini, because that's a very inefficient way to paint.
Yeah, who's taking the picture?
Right? I don't know. That's a good point. Who is taking that picture?
Holding his phone with his mouth, like
definitely not Ezra Miller. Yeah. So usually you assemble it partially, and then you paint it, and you put the assembled model on something to grab onto. But I thought it was pretty cool. And then I learned that Robin Williams played Warhammer as well. He played Eldar, played 40K. So
yeah, Henry Cavill's a huge nerd, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll have to talk to his people, see if we can get him on the Joy of Hobbying.
Yeah, he was talking about gaming the other day. I mean, I guess gaming is such a mainstream thing now, but it's still weird to think like Henry Cavill is like a normal guy.
It's good people.
Yeah, this is cool. It's almost like what's that guy's name? The Epic Mealtime guy.
I have no idea what his name is.
Something Morganson or something. But he collects hot toys, and he's always posting. He has a whole account dedicated to his toy photography.
Do you know Drake collects hot toys?
Yeah, Drake too. That was
yeah. We found a picture of someone posted a picture in one of the groups of Drake's living room, and he had a bunch of hot toys, and they were posed awfully. It was like, my God.
It's just kind of cool to see like someone you don't consider like a normal person or like a regular guy.
Yeah.
Also in the same hobby as you. It's just cool. I like it. So it was a nice little bit of news.
I agree. Dean, let's get into what grinds my gears. I think you said you want to spend a while on this on your grinds my gears. But Sunday, Rainer sent us this email from Sideshow, and I was a little offended. Now, we are obviously not the biggest channel in the world, but people know people in this hobby. Like, I would not be surprised if Sideshow has some person that knows of our show. And to me, this is a little too on the nose. Our colors, our slogan. I just feel like, we mentioned this on Ox After Dark with Matt Mangum, and I kind of said, like, there's certain radiuses in this hobby. We have like our color motif, and we kind of have like a lock on like the Star Wars vibe. I would never, trade like kind of take another person's established aesthetic and try to use it as my own. I would never do like an auxiliary symbol logo or
Right.
There's just like 4 or 5 different content creators, and we've all kind of like worked out our own little niche, and that's like, and it works well. Like Tuesdays we record, PJ records. Wednesdays Six Scale Savages records. Mondays Shelter in Space records. Friday Group Therapy records. We all kind of have worked out and established our own little niches, and I was really offended by this, Dean. I was really bummed by this, and you in particular were really mad about this.
Yeah, I
Tell me about it.
up to it.
Because this isn't the first time we felt that someone from Sideshow had heard some of our product and kind of used some ideas that we've had, or other things.
Right.
I know you mentioned the How to Be a Poser, where we gave a bunch of posing tips on an episode, and like the next week, Sideshow had a posing video using almost all of our tips from PJ.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you had said it the other day. Like, you could kind of like, New This Week isn't like a groundbreaking slogan.
It is, but
But like the fact that our colors are on it, also, it's like, guys, come on.
And I mean, I looked through almost every email that I could find in my inbox, and none of them had our color scheme like this. It was always like a different thing with this segment, with this New This Week.
Yeah.
I'd like an apology, Sideshow. I'd like an apology. And until then, we made our own logo. That's it's completely original. It's not using any influence from any third parties. Dean, what do you think of my new logo?
Dude, I want one in brushed aluminum.
Yeah. Sean, if you're watching, I did email you the SVG file for this, so I'd like if you could make me an A logo like this, 3D printed. Make me a few of these, and we can send them out to the crew so we can have them for a recording studio. So Sean, let me know if you got that email. I'd love to commission a few of these, and we can sell our own little icons, Dean, because it is an original idea after all.
Right, totes.
But I love this logo. This logo's pretty good, honestly.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. So again, completely original though, not taking influence from anyone else. But Dean, what's going on here with this game that you got?
Oh my god!
Final Fantasy VII, the remake.
Sorry, dude.
I warned him.
I'm just gonna be quiet for like the next 10 minutes and just let you go off.
Okay, so off the bat, it's not even a remake. I don't know why they called it a remake. It's more of a reimagining.
That would be a more appropriate word.
Yes. There are story elements and beats that they stick to, and when they stick to them, my God, it's magnificent.
Beautiful.
There's like a whole maybe like 6 or 7 hour stretch of the game that's just so perfectly executed that it makes the rest of the game frustrating. It's like, guys, you already had the perfect game. Literally.
The golden goose. And you killed it. You
fucking butchered it and put its own head up its ass. Like
it's literally honestly one of the most, and I hate to say it this way, but it's honestly one of the most insulting and disrespectful reimaginings I've ever seen, because they didn't sell it as a reimagining. They sold it as a remake, and they butchered Hironobu Sakaguchi's story and just made a joke of it. Like, I knew there was going to be trouble the second they had writers and directors or whoever they are that worked on Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is probably one of the most confusing shit shows I've ever witnessed in a game.
Yeah. Now I have the benefit, and I think maybe Deannie will agree with me. We've played the original. We know the story. So like I'm not I mean I am upset, but it's like I already know the story, so like I kind of know where it's already going anyway. But like she said, it's just like this isn't the story you sold.
Yeah, you said it was going to be a remake, not a complete rewrite that fundamentally changes the story. Like, there's things that happen in this world in real life that are horrible and sad, and it fundamentally changes people, and that's what made the original story impactful, and that's what made it mean something. So when you take some aspects of the story and completely just, oh, that actually didn't happen,
Yeah.
it ruins the sacrifice. It ruins the I guess like the moral lesson. And I don't know. They just, I can't believe anyone at Square Enix allowed it to get this bad.
Yeah. It felt like, okay, this is what I told somebody. Oh, sorry, I was reading Jason's comment. He said, so for anyone who has not played the prior game or know the prior story, how do you think they would receive it? It's a really fun game.
Yeah, gameplay wise, it is good.
It's a fantastic game. It really is.
Mechanically, they didn't screw with the materia too much. The battle system is really good. I have no complaints about the mechanical aspect of the actual game.
Story wise, I don't know. It's
if you didn't know the original story, I think honestly you would just be confused.
Yeah, there's almost no rhyme or reason to it. It also suffers the same problem I think Final Fantasy IX did, where at the very end of the game, there's just some weird bad guy that comes out of nowhere. That it's like, what?
Yeah, there was no inkling whatsoever that it existed. There was no mention of it. Or there was no hint or whisper that it existed. And that's what happened here. It just, like you said, Dean, about Mass Effect, tell him.
Yeah, I have not been this disappointed in a game since Mass Effect 3. It's like you have this amazing story that you've set up for decades, by the way. And at the 1 yard line, you don't even fumble the ball. You just turn around and give it to the other team and let them score on you and win the game. Like, it's like, what were you thinking? It was, Manny said, ruin, kind of like when the Emperor came back and basically ruined Vader's story arc. Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I'll take it like a step further. Again, going back to Jason's question, you would not know what's going on because without any spoilers, the main character Cloud has these flashbacks there at the end where he's seeing glimpses of the events that unfolded in the original game, and he doesn't really understand them because he hasn't reached that point in his life yet. So he's seen these glimpses. He doesn't even know what they mean. So how the hell would a new gamer know what is going on?
Right.
You would have no clue what he's seen or the context of it or what it meant. Like, there's no exposition whatsoever. It's just like this weird time travel MacGuffin plot that just, I don't understand it. I don't understand how anyone allowed this to occur.
Yeah, so the guy who's kind of in charge of the game was Tetsuya Nomura, who really just designed the characters in the original game. He didn't really partake in the story at all. So for whatever reason, Square Enix was like, yeah, you're in charge of this now.
Yeah, because he's been in charge of, let's just say, the newer Final Fantasies, the Kingdom Hearts games. Like it's not like he's this noob who has never been able to handle a game. But what I'm saying is, he dropped the ball on this.
It almost feels like when George Lucas was making the prequels, and nobody wanted to tell him his ideas were bad. It's like everyone was scared of Tetsuya Nomura at Square Enix. Like, just let him do whatever he wants. And no one said, hey, man, maybe you should just, like, not do that.
And then the story writer here, I pulled up his name because I'm terrible at remembering people's names. Kazushige Nojima. He's known for writing Final Fantasy X, 10-2, Advent Children, Crisis Core, and Kingdom Hearts. Which, by the way... Crisis Core and Kingdom Hearts are among my least favorite games ever.
Yeah, Crisis Core also backtracks a lot on the original story. And Advent Children, I like that movie. It's a good movie. It's fun. But it also, it's just like rewrites characters.
To kind of give you an idea, of how bad this gets, I'd like to guide everyone to go to YouTube at some point in the future. Look up a video by Barry Kramer titled "A Good Enough Summary of Kingdom Hearts." It's a 3-part series. Each one's probably like 20 to 30 minutes long, just trying to explain the plot in Kingdom Hearts in a conceivable manner. And it's almost impossible. I don't think anyone could do it, not even the writer of the story. And I think that's where they're going with this game. Obviously, this is the first part of maybe 3.
So Mickey's going to be in the game?
I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Mickey Mouse showed up, because at this point, time travel is like a thing now.
Okay.
People...
Let me put it this way. I played the original game. I know the story.
He's probably played it 100 times.
Even at the end of this game, I was asking Deannie questions like, what the fuck was that? Like, does this mean this is the thing now? Like, if I'm confused as a veteran, a new player is going to be like, what the fuck did I just watch? Who is that? And it also, the last like 30 minutes of the story ruin a lot of surprise in the later parts of the game. One of the main characters is Aerith, and for the most part, she has no idea how important she is for most of the story. And in this game, she's pretty much clairvoyant and like already knows everything that's about to happen. It's like, that's not a thing. So you've already just like ruined this character. Now, that being said, I enjoyed the characters. I don't think there's any character I particularly disliked that was already an established character, because the game also has the benefit of going deeper into some side characters that really add to the story.
DA210 says, I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts sucks, dude.
Yeah,
the first one's good.
You have bad taste in games.
Dude, DA needs to join us in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
Talk about that here in a second. Well, Dean, let's bring this back to a happy place. Back to collecting.
Okay.
You could probably spend a whole podcast just talking about.
Okay. So just so everyone knows, I know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I'm not just like a fake fan who picked this game up. I've been collecting Final Fantasy VII figures since they came out. Literally, since they came out.
Since 1997.
Yeah.
And I was there when he was buying these toys.
Yeah, I remember it vividly. I'll tell the story when we get to those pictures, but these are the Player Arts Kai Advent Children figures. Got Vincent, Yuffie, Cloud, Zack, Rufus, Sid, Barrett.
Where's the nice little thing I made you, that the picture? I don't think I see it.
Oh, it's by my kitchen.
Wow,
I forgot to
broke my heart.
I'll put it over now.
No, it's okay.
These are the Play Arts. These are the middle ground figures. They came out maybe 2005-ish, maybe. I don't remember. Yeah, so there's Sephiroth, Cloud when he was a soldier, a grunt, Zack, Reno, Cloud on the real Hardy Daytona.
Yes, the original.
That's such
That
a
is
beautiful bike, dude.
gorgeous.
And that Cloud on the bike is actually a PlayArts Kai from Dissidia, but he was in PlayArts scale. PlayArts Kai's a little bigger. Go to the next slide. Even my fucking tie. Oh, you didn't put it. Oh,
I put everything that you sent.
no, I sent another one
you
of
sent
the
it last
original
minute,
figures.
so.
Yeah, but anyway, if you go to the last one, right there, at Sephiroth's feet on the bottom right, even my fucking tie clip is a Buster Sword. When I wear suits,
Yeah, that's true. The Buster Sword.
it's right here.
Dean is the biggest Final Fantasy 7 fan I know. And we always clash because 9 is my favorite. I'm not even particularly nostalgic about 7, which is why I'm surprised about how offended I am by this remake.
Yeah,
because I really don't. I mean, I love Final Fantasy 7. I think that's a fantastic game. It's one of the best ever made. But I didn't have any expectations of this game going in. I was just sort of like, that those Kingdom Hearts people are involved. Probably it could go either way. And it just disappointed on every conceivable level, except for the parts where they stuck to the original script.
Yeah, when they stick to it, it's so fantastically done.
And I'll say that when they expand on stuff that previously existed, I appreciated that because they actually made it better by adding to stuff that really wasn't ever addressed in the original game, like when they spend more time with Wedge or Biggs or Jesse. So you get a little bit more familiar with them as people. Like Biggs volunteers at an orphanage. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah,
He's a cool character before, but now he's even cooler because you can see, hey, this guy has a heart and he cares about kids who've been,
but at the exact same time, that makes the later part of the game even worse.
Yeah, in a way. I guess I could see that.
In a really weird way because, I mean, it's a light spoiler in the original. Well, I don't want to say it.
Don't say it, Dean.
Yeah, don't spoil anything, but
I want to hear about Mickey. Don't say
it. It's just like you give these characters more depth and you care about them more. And so when whatever happens, it carries a significant weight. And then they just like fucking backtrack on a bunch of shit. And it's like, but why did you make me give a shit about these characters then? Like, it's so stupid. Like,
yeah, it's like they can't commit to a ballsy decision.
Yeah.
Like they're copying out left and right. It's like, whoa, this thing happened, but oh, now it doesn't happen because it's all fucking sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's so frustrating.
It's frustrating because
now I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now that this is the first installment.
Yeah, that's true.
This game is to Final Fantasy VII what The Last Jedi is to Star Wars. I will say that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It
and that might be
changes things. It's like, why?
In ways that are just inconceivable. Just doesn't make any sense. It has no rhyme or reason. And like I said, it's a cop-out in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So again, like Dean said, I guess we have to be a little bit less like critical because it is just the first part of what, like maybe 3. And they might be able to recover from this.
Yeah.
Because I obviously don't know what the larger picture is, but I don't have a lot of hope at this point that it's going to be good.
Yeah, so this game, all told, I spent about 34 hours on it. In reality, how long is this in the original game? 7, 8 hours, maybe. Leaving Midgar.
No, not at all.
That's like
At least double, like less than 20.
Oh, okay.
If you really take your time, like it's probably less than 20 hours.
I guess maybe since I've played Final Fantasy 7 so much, I could fly through the beginning of the game relatively easily.
Yeah, I like to kind of take my time with things and
it's
level
like
up, level grind.
He loves TLJ. He's gonna pick this game up tomorrow.
Oh no, he's got Rona. The only reason anybody would say that is if their brain was melting. Anyway,
well, Dean, let's talk about
yeah. Let's move on because I could literally keep going.
Yeah, my blood pressure's gone up.
So we did episode 1 of Live and Let Dice about 8 days ago, and it was about a 4-hour stream, and it was fucking dope. Dean almost died twice. And actually legit almost died like the second time. Deanie's character was I like the way you play your character because we just fuck around, like kill shit, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna investigate this, I'm gonna investigate that. And like I think it's good to have that person in the group because I feel like Cody
smarter.
Probably spends a lot of time designing these set pieces, and we're just like killing shit and like just going to the next level. My character was amazing. Practically saved
that whole session was fun as hell.
So this is my character here. So I can get it to focus here. So this is my character. I painted that myself.
Awesome.
And then Watto's Scrapyard printed my Hero Forge mini in a tiny in resin. So that's my Hero Forge design. Yeah. And this Saturday night, I need to hit up Deannie to make mine.
Yes.
Yeah, we have oversized ones.
Yeah, I made mine as big as I could, and Dean's as well. So I got my
about almost as tall as my head.
Yeah,
it's cool.
So this Saturday we're going to play again. Our DM was busting so much ass that we bought him a nice little gift, a new microphone, so that way we can improve our streams just a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited for this Saturday's episode. We can see what happens. We can definitely. I mean, essentially, this first episode was kind of like a retelling of episode 1 of The Mandalorian. And then I'm excited to see where he goes from there, because there are some plot elements that are totally different than The Mandalorian. So he's kind of like picking and choosing from different sources. So Jason Nelson says, you guys need to post pics of those characters in the group. Yeah, we can post the pictures.
I've actually commissioned a piece of Stolas from one of my friends who's a fantastic artist. Hell yeah. I'll send that to you when it's done, but I think we do need some cool artwork of our characters.
Well, Dean's supposed to be doing the artwork for this episode, the recap. So, Dean, how is that coming along?
I haven't even started.
You have till Saturday, and don't disappoint.
I just don't know what you want me to do.
You just draw
pick one moment of each character and draw that scene. So, for example,
like you cutting.
Cutting the dude in half. Yeah, that could be the thing. And then me saving your life, and then Stolas being amazing. And I don't know, just
flying around.
Just figure something out, dude. You got this.
Me trying to stab a goblin that's already wrapped up in a tarp and missing like an idiot.
Yeah.
Did we all miss that dude?
I think 2 people missed him. Yeah, while he's flailing around on the floor, and then finally someone killed him.
Says he can't wait for us to be back in the same room, and Manny says this podcast is too violent. Yeah, I got pretty wild. I'm so excited, Dean. I got these new fancy dice. Oh, so excited. Got these little gold dice here from my.
Oh yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah, I got some new dice too. Dean got them from.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. So stay tuned. Saturday we'll probably do another 4-hour stream. And then we have the other shows in our network. So we have Small Talk, which I think they're recording this week. Only Fools and Collecting. Creeps Are Us. Big shout out to Manny for being in the chat tonight and for pimping out our new intro, which you've heard the last few episodes. And then, of course, Live and Let Dice recording the Saturday, Wookiee of the Year, and The Joy of Hobbying. So definitely a lot of good content. Even though the world's on shutdown, we're still trying to put out some content for you guys to listen to and to to be entertained, because that's what we do. So
look.
What do you got? Ooh, are those metal?
No.
Yeah, I didn't know by the time I ordered it. I didn't know you were gonna give Dean some dice too. So
Oh no, that's cool.
Amazon was so slow that he finally got them in the mail.
Hey,
No, that's cool.
gold ones are metal though.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But yeah, so Manny, I don't know. They're saying something about sleeping. I don't understand that, but anyways, that's pretty much it for the show. I mean, it's kind of a slow news week. Lots of things that we were bitching and moaning about, but that's what we do on the show. We critique, we bitch, we moan. Again, big shout out to all the people in our network. Big shout out to Manny for being here on the show. Our sponsor, Sean Fuhr, 6 Scale Scavengers, Brian, Chris, TC, the new Rogue 160 YouTube channel, Matt and Steve and Roy. And do you guys have any shout outs you want to give?
Just shout out my sister.
Shout out to fan favorite Deannie. Yeah. Deannie, so you haven't been on a while. I think we've kind of upgraded a bit since the last time you've been on.
Yeah, I think again, the last time I was on the show, I was discussing statues again, and that's a really, really slow going hobby. I mean, you're at the mercy of just manufacturing and supply chain and shipping, and now the pandemic. So I have 3 Berserk statues on pre-order. I have Griffith that's still delayed. I've got that's a 1/6 scale. I have a 1/3 scale Guts that I finally paid off. That I still have to receive. And then the third one was the let's see.
We should just do a collecting quarterly statues because it seems like the news is too slow.
Oh yeah, the Zod, the Nosferatu Zod in apostle form. I have him already paid off.
How heavy is that statue?
Oh, he's 147 pounds.
God damn.
A gigantic one. I think they scaled him to 1/5 scale.
Jesus.
So he's huge.
Yeah. My God, 140 pounds.
Yeah, so I got him.
Scary. It's like a full-size adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very heavy, and I've been really looking forward to it. But Griffith, even before this pandemic situation, he's been delayed. I had him on pre-order since 2017, so going on 3 years now, and it's just one thing after another. So I really don't have a lot of cool statues that I've personally bought to share, just because it's so difficult to get them to begin with. Yeah. And I think the only toys I've been buying are these. I have this one here, my Pharmacy 9 Bring Arts figures. I've been ordering all of these, which are super fun. But
hell yeah.
Maybe I'll talk about those some other time.
Deannie, if we gave you an SVG, could you also make us 3D prints of that little A for that logo?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah. We have to make all the ones that we can to get them out of the world.
Yeah, I think
I'm just so annoyed that company stole our slogan and our colors. Like, the set tripping, man. That is totally set tripping.
Well, the imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
That is true.
Yeah,
I mean, we're gonna do our new segment,
ass kicking.
We're gonna do a new segment called "Let Your Ox Pride Show." We're gonna have a show called "How to Pose" instead of "How to Be a Poser." It's gonna be great. Manny says the new episode of Creeps R Us is coming. That's what she said. So excited for that. And again, big shout out to Sean, sweet angel. What a guy.
Yeah, shout out Sean. He's still in the chat. What a good guy.
All right. Well, you guys have a good week. We will see you next week, barring anything crazy. Worst case, there's always backlogs, but it's been a good week, been a good show. Lots of cool pickups. I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Deannie.
Catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Great show.